Hello. Today is the premiere of season 19 of The Real Housewives of Orange County. This is episode 1. I do have to warn you, there's a lot to unpack in this episode, so this video might be a little bit longer than my usual videos, but let's go ahead and jump right in. So the episode opens up, of course, with us catching up with all the girls. They're doing like little snippets of like the girls and, kind of what they've been up to a little bit. Shannon picks up Katie to go car shopping, and in the car, Shannon says she's in a completely different place than last year, and that she settled on the lawsuit with John for $60,000, and then she posts they show a post from her Instagram that shows like the receipt of her paying the $60,000, which I think is hysterical. I'm sure she got a lot of backlash from everybody, and she wanted to be like, "Look, it's done, we settled, whatever." But it's just so crazy to me that Shannon is so public with everything about her life. Katie says after the reunion, her and Shannon have gotten a lot closer and have had a blast together. She felt like Shannon had really had her back at the reunion, so they've definitely been developing the relationship. Gina and Travis decided to move back in together into a new house. Very exciting. So we get a little clip of their new house. I guess it's a little bit bigger. She says she took a trip to Bali last summer and it was life-changing. She was making a lot of fear-based decisions and she doesn't want to live her life that way anymore. She wants to move forward with her life and just live freely, more freely, even though some people, meaning Travis's ex, is making it more difficult for her to do that. But she doesn't care. She's moving forward. Emily comes over to check out Gina's new house and have a little gossip sesh, of course. Gina tells Emily that she went to the dog beach with Jen and Shannon, and there was a whole thing that gets brought up about, and I'm going to try to explain this because it's kind of a big storyline, at least in this episode. So I want to try to work through it because it's a little bit confusing to me even. But I guess what happened was in previous seasons, Emily's kids were talking crap about Heather to somebody on the cast or something. And then so Emily was like, "Oh, Emily, you're talking crap about me around your kids," right? Like they're spilling the beans, basically. I guess Emily's ex-nanny posted in the press or went to the press and said that the kids actually did talk a lot of crap about Heather and would spill the tea on all the girls from the cast. And so she posted that in the press, and I guess Katie went to this girl the blogger who posted it. I don't know if it's the blogger that posted it. I think it was the blogger that posted it, not the nanny. Maybe it was both. But Katie went to one or two of these girls and consoled them. So I don't really understand why it's such a big deal. I guess it's because of it shows Katie's mistrust, or Katie's not a true ally to the cast. It's a big storyline, so I wanted to thoroughly go through it to the best of my knowledge, because I don't really understand it at this point. Katie's saying she's mad that Emily was talking about losing custody at the reunion of her kids, losing custody of her kids. So I guess at the reunion, it was brought up that Katie had lost custody of her kids at some point, or maybe she still does because she didn't have a fit home before she married Matt when she was single and left her ex-husband. And so she lost custody. And so Emily brought that to light and was harassing her about it at the reunion. So Katie was pissed about it, so she's saying, "This is kind of why I went and talked to the bloggers." Heather and Terry are at their new Beverly Hills house and talk about the renovations going on. It looks like it's a disaster, and they talk about that it's going to take 3 years to finish, and they don't know if they want to do this project anymore. They said something about the contractor who quoted them $10 million to do it, and then it was $8 million over that budget, and he told them that after they started tearing it apart. It all seems a little shifty to me. I don't know if they have enough money to finish this house. That's kind of the vibe that I was getting when I was watching it, but I don't know. Emily talks about how her son Luke is having some dietary issues and isn't eating much, so they go kind of into depth about how he doesn't eat, and she mentions in this point that she went to a therapist or something, and they were saying he doesn't process hunger the way that we do. So they were trying to get control over that because he's not really eating a lot. So she's really concerned. Tamara goes to her psychiatrist's office. She's been working on where her anger is coming from. Her psychiatrist says she might be on the spectrum, and she went on her podcast directly after one of these sessions. This wasn't on camera, and said that on her podcast. And apparently the public ripped her to shreds over it. because she said that she might be autistic or she is autistic, and the public just ripped her to shreds. I kind of remember this happening as it like in real time while they were filming. The whole internet was just like, you're just using this as an excuse for your bad behavior. And then they throw up a screenshot of some of the comments, and Gretchen Rossi, who's also on this season, they don't introduce her in this episode, but she's on this season, said something about like, you're just using this as an excuse for your bad behavior, which wild. Jen and Ryan go shopping for swimsuits because they're thinking about doing a beach wedding instead of a traditional wedding. Jen says she hasn't been talking to Tamara because of the whole FBI raid situation. So Tamara in last season was saying, you know, bringing it to light that there was a raid on Ryan's house from the FBI, and Jen did not like that at all, so I guess they have not been talking since filming is wrapped. Heather, Emily, and Tamara all meet up for dinner. Tamara talks about why she blocked Katie. So again, there was a blogger that was saying Tamara feeds the press, and Katie allegedly reached out to the blogger and perpetuated the situation, or like consoled the blogger. So I think before Katie was reaching out to the nanny, and in this situation, she's reaching out to the blogger. So I think it's just painting a picture that Katie's being really messy with the cast and perpetuating like rumors and like the bloggers and all the tabloids and things. I guess they don't use tabloids anymore, all the bloggers. Emily and Gina are on their way to meet up with Katie, and Emily tells Gina in the car that her son might have autism, and that this like eating thing has like some sort of connection to it. They're finding out. So I think we're finding out like in real time what's going on with Emily's son, and it's just really sad. Like Emily's really heartbroken about it, and so she tells Gina on the way there, she's like, this whole Katie situation is really intense for me because like I've got so much other stuff going on. Gina and Emily arrived to meet up with Katie, and apparently Katie didn't know that Emily was going to be there, so Gina just sprung Emily on Katie. Gina says she's lost trust with Katie and tells Katie Jen thinks that she is a con artist. So I think Jen and Katie are friends, pretty good friends, and Gina's trying to like throw a dig and be like, oh, your friend Jen even says that you're a con artist, like, because everybody's upset with her. Katie tells Emily she should have ignored Emily's ex-nanny, but she was pissed. Emily says Katie should have come to her directly if she was mad about something, and said Katie bringing Emily's kids into the mix is off limits. So they really go into a discussion of like, that usually the housewives are like, kids are off limits, right? Like we don't bring the kids in the show. They didn't sign up for this. They're adolescent, like all that stuff. And so Emily's reiterating like, you did something wrong here. You brought the kids into this. So now I'm kind of realizing the gravity of the situation actually in this moment as I'm filming this. Katie apologizes and Emily accepts it, but she says she doesn't have any trust in her and denies a hug from Katie as she's leaving the meetup with Gina and Emily. They kind of wrap things up. She gives Gina a hug. She goes to give Emily a hug, and Emily's like, no, I'm good. Tamara says in her interview that she's sad she's not good friends with Shannon anymore. And then she goes into this whole thing in her interview about how she's so sad that Shannon dropped her. But all last season, Tamara was coming for Shannon, saying that she was an alcoholic and like being horrible to her. So now Tamara's flipping the script and being like, oh, Shannon dropped me. Like, that's not a good friend. Like, and even her and Eddie are talking, and he's like, yeah, she's not a good friend. She dropped you. And I'm like, girl, you were dragging her all last season. Like, what did you expect? Shannon is hosting an event at a place called the Golden Hour for the girls, which seems to be some sort of like spiritual retreat type thing, like Zen thing in the woods. They don't really elaborate on it much. The girls start arriving at the retreat, and Tamara talks about Teddy Mellencamp, who was a Beverly Hills housewife and is one of her best friends. They do a podcast together, the podcast that she talked about her autism on. And she has multiple brain tumors, so I've kind of been following the story like offline. Teddy has like multiple brain tumors. They had to shave her head and do like emergency surgery. Like, it's a whole really scary thing. And Tamara's one of her best friends, so I think it's really going to affect her throughout this whole season. Shannon says she's going to put her conversation with Tamara on hold because she's dealing with so much with Teddy. So Shannon was going to talk to Tamara about the relationship at the retreat, and then Shannon was like, I'm going to hold off on this conversation because they just found out about Teddy's tumors, and so she's like, I'm going to hold off on this conversation. The girls are wondering why Shannon invited Katie to the event, and Shannon says that this is a place of healing, and she said she thinks it's going to help everyone get over their issues. We'll see about that. And then they cut to Emily in her interview, and she made a list of all of the things, all the shady things that she thinks that Katie has done, and it was like a long list she was scrolling through. It's pretty funny. Katie arrives, and it's clearly very awkward for everybody. Shannon tells the girls half of them are going drumming, and the other half are going to do Tai Chi together. Katie, Emily, Jen, and Shannon are doing the drumming. Gina, Tamara, and Heather are going to do the Tai Chi. After the girls finish Tai Chi, Tamara talks about Jen and Ryan going hard for Tamara and Eddie on social media, and then they throw up screenshots of like them talking crap about them, saying that Eddie's gay and their marriage is over, and then all this like crazy stuff. So she brings that up to Heather and Jen after Tai Chi. The girls sit down for lunch after their respective activities, and of course, this is when the drama starts. Katie invites the girls to hot pot, so she sits down at lunch. She's like, I'm having hot pot this Friday, want all the girls to come, and they're all like, we all have beef with you right now, and you're gonna just invite us to this like event. So the girls feel weird about hanging out with Katie after what she's done with the bloggers. They basically don't trust her. They're kind of talking about that. And then Katie denies talking to the bloggers, and the girls ask her to show them her DMs to prove it. And Katie's reluctant. She's like, I don't have service. I don't have service. And the girls are like, yeah, you're lying, because you would be like running to the phone and be like, look, I didn't like talk to this girl. This is our conversation, and like show them. And she's like, oh, I don't have service. I don't want to show it right now. And they're like, you're going to go delete it and then show us. So that's how the episode ends. So basically, Katie's in hot water with the girls. Let's see if she can repair it. I hope you enjoyed my recap. I will link below a playlist to all the episodes in this season. And thank you so much for joining me, and I will check you on the next one.